Rob Carlile, tax bill.
Appreciate y'all letting me bring this issue up before y'all. Chelsea. Check my paperwork.
Okay.
I have to kind of excuse me if I get a little bit nervous because I'm not used to speaking in public, even though my past job was a DJ. But it gets kind of nerve-wracking sometimes. But right now, what we're talking about is a tax abatement that we were, tax abatements that we were supposed to be getting for Carlisle properties and prices. As you can see on there, I'm going to go through it really shortly because there's a lot of paperwork that was involved that we had to do. But we applied for the tax abatement for sales income tax and some other things that were made possible by the type of situation we're in this area. And as you know, we're one of the enterprise zones, which means we're like a depressed area, and I have that right here showing us that we're that, and I can let y'all look at this. But you'll see in there our abatement of property taxes, also report of intent to invest in the project, and income tax capital credit, and our application for sales and use tax. There's also minutes in there from the IDB that shows them granting us those. There's also minutes in there from the IDB approving the minutes of that meeting. And there's also minutes from the Planning Commission showing the approval for our design side. After all this process got going, and this is after I've already gotten into a rental agreement with the client after having these property taxes supposedly in place, the abatements. Mayor Potter decided he wanted me to give up the abatement because they were going to build a road in front of us. When I talked to him, I was really unsure about doing any of that because the abatements, he didn't know which one to take. He had to kind of calculate it out, see which one would benefit you in the long run. And we weren't planning on, my part of the access road was $126,000, plain and simple. Then on February the 25th, we received a letter from the Scottsboro Commercial Development Authority that was turning us down for the abatement. I talked to the Attorney General's office, and they said that CDA has no authority whatsoever over the Scottsboro IDB. There was no paperwork that given from the IDB to turn us down. There was no reason to be turned down, and the paperwork was stopped at the city attorney's office, which we've asked for copies from there, but no one's been able to find it, even at the Jackson County office. That's why y'all have our paperwork that we had submitted in. There's not even a letter showing that I had requested to go before the CDA. And when I tried to meet with the CDA, every time I met there was they didn't have a quorum. And then one time they did have a quorum, but they refused to meet when I started asking questions. They refused to meet, and they had a quorum, and I believe that's also against state law when they try to make a decision like that. On April 17th, I had to deliver a hand-delivered letter to the city to go to the CDA, since we were prevented from meeting with them. We were not even invited to go to the meeting in which they were discussing those abatements. You would think that they would invite the people that were talking about to the meeting, but they did not invite us. And we're hoping to get some answers to our questions, and we still have not received any feedback from them, period, all the way till today. And again, that was in 2013. And they still have not sent us a letter back, said anything about it. I was told by someone on that board that the mayor is the one that wanted them to take it up, and he also told them how to vote, which was an initiative. We talked to the Jackson County Revenue Commission. That's why the paperwork didn't get to him. He said based on what he had been told, we had two alternatives: to drop the issue and go on about our business, or seek legal action against the city. This is a city I have lived in all my life. I love this city. I don't want to sue this city. However, I did obtain a lawyer, and we sent a letter of intent to sue, hoping that it would go to the city council and that we could talk to people with more level-headed minds with no political agenda. But that was not able to happen yet. And everyone I've talked to, including the Attorney General's office, And the lawyer said basically it's a political thing, and you have to come before the city council and get it to them. I'm not one of these people that really is comfortable in this situation, and I've kind of avoided it till now. But it's time just to put it either to get something done or put it behind me or whatever I've got to do. I noticed the claim against the city was filed, like I said, it was on August the 29th of 2013. And I was amazed. I waited, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months. I was amazed when I talked to a couple of city council members that no one had ever been notified that you had a possible lawsuit sitting out there. And again, I haven't gone through with that, but when you sue a city, you're supposed to give them, I believe, 60 days notice before it can go through the court. We're asking for a simple resolution to this abatement issue. I believe cooler heads can prevail. As you know, we've given Dunham's up to $500,000 in sales tax abatements. You've given this other one up to $500,000 in sales tax abatements, and that has been spearheaded by the mayor. And it appears that he would like for out-of-town people to come to the Scottsboro, get all the abatements they can get all the help they can get, but a local person that has paid sales tax the whole time I've been in business, and have paid property tax here in this town, and have been a part of this town. I even pay my $1 or $2 to go into the rec and watch my boys play ball. These other people ain't never going to do that. But it just appears that as long as you're from somewhere else, that the mayor is more than willing to help you get in this town as cheap as possible. There's also a letter in there from now the reason we applied for the tax abatements was we were told we would qualify because of tourism, which was something new, and because of the way we're in a depressed economic area. We qualify because of the tomato pie. We're the only restaurant in Jackson County on the barbecue trail. And you'll see a letter in there from, I believe it's Alabama Mountain Lakes, showing this as a tourist destination. I've got people coming in from Rome, Georgia tomorrow just to try tomato pie. They saw me today when I was out there pressure washing all my outdoor furniture, and they're coming in to try tomato pie. And they've heard about it from where I don't know. And if you'll look on here too, it talks about the Alabama Barbecue Trail, and we're also on the 100 meals in Alabama to eat before you die. There's no other restaurant in this area that would qualify for that does that, that has anything like that. And I'm not meaning to brag, but that was the only thing that made it possible for us to be able to get the abatements. Without those tourism aspects behind it, apparently the abatements are not that readily available. And then we went further with it. The lawyer did go and he contacted Ron Crawford, the Jackson County Revenue Commissioner, and Crawford stated that we did not qualify according to the state. So we go and we have a little talk with Mr. Crawford. Well, we never did get to his office. The one that, and get this, somebody that has something like this, tomato pie and all these other papers, and we're, right here I've got, we're in Life in the Water, okay? It's not even a local magazine, it's from a different area. We're in there. We're in Tennessee Agricultural. And there's about 4 or 5 more that I could tell you that we're in, but I just didn't bother to ring. I figured this would be enough to just kind of prove that point. But the one that was denied because they were a restaurant was Long John Silver's. They are not a tourist destination in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And we very loosely qualify for it. It's not like unclaimed baggage. They qualify for it like that, okay? But the draw that we had, and you look in the Alabama Mountain Lakes and read what they had to say, would show that that's where we qualify at. And when we talked to Ron, he apologized to us, he apologized to the lawyer and all that good stuff. Additionally, the Jackson County Economic Development Authority is also aware of our paperwork, but they have no idea where it is. Now, I've talked to the State Attorney General, the State Attorney, or the State, whatever you call him, the State Attorney General's office, and told him our situation. He said, or the lady I talked to, said that the mayor has no authority whatsoever to stop my paperwork from going through. Period. None. It's supposed to go straight to Mr. Kinnemer, straight from Mr. Kinnemer to the courthouse or the Revenue Commissioner, and then see where it goes from there. That's the general way it goes. And then after we talked to a little bit more, there were some other issues that came up that we're working on in a different way. But the main thing is we're in this Alabama Enterprise Zone program, and have been. And it's supposed to help small businesses like mine that are in this area here. And I took a big step in trying to build what I built. Took a big step. And, you know, and part of that, when we did some of the rental agreements that I had done in there with Rent-A-Center, typically you'll have a rentor pay the property tax. Because I was getting property tax abatements, I was trying to get it filled up, and I didn't put that in there. So that's cost me money. And then I did make an agreement with the mayor to drop the property taxes, property tax and sales tax abatements, whatever it was we qualified for, but he never did sign it. In that agreement, all I wanted was to be treated fairly. All I wanted was a level playing field. I don't want nothing more than nobody else gets, period. All right? I'm not out here thinking I deserve more from anything. But when you hear these other folks getting these property taxes abated and all this other stuff done, or sales tax abated, excuse me, and then yours has been sitting there stuck at the lawyer's office or wherever it's at, and nothing's been done with it, that's just not right. I was granted this by a city entity, the IDB. And once it's granted by there, the mayor has no authority. I've given that authority for those type of decisions to them. But I just want to be treated fairly. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for nothing extra. Then I would like for y'all to look over that and see what y'all think. And maybe hear back from you like I haven't heard back from any of the other people. But is there any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple of comments. You waiting? Okay. You do have a copy of his letter where he says, and I'll read it exactly, I have decided to let the city of Scottsboro build an access road on my portion of Highway 72 and give up the city tax abatements. There it is.
Well, does it not go on with the agreements?
Your time.
No, it does not go on with the agreements here saying, there were certain things you were supposed to do.
Mr. Carlile, this is not a debate. You've got your own.
He's not reading all the letter.
They have the letter. They can read it. They've had the letter. Secondly, you are wrong. You're not in the enterprise zone. And you're right, I have no authority over any of the boards. And even if I told them, which I didn't, not to approve yours, they can still do it. That's what those boards are for, to act independently of the city. You were wrong about the Jackson County Economic Development Agency. You may have filed your paperwork there, but they do retail incentives. I mean, they do industrial incentives and not retail incentives. You're wrong about Ollie's in that development. You said it's $500,000 worth of taxes. It's $1 million. Now, they didn't get a street built for them. They didn't have a choice. And I didn't approve these. I recommended it to the city council. They were the ultimate authority in all this.
Can I see that copy of that letter? The one that says I agree to, which I've got right there.
We'll give it to him after the meeting. He didn't bother.
Well, no, because after the meeting's over with.
Rob,
There was just
You wrote the letter.
Rob.
You know, you all have the information there in front of you. 3 years ago, 2 years ago in September, he sent a notice of intent to sue the city. And I don't know who that's at. That's really the last I've heard from him. So you know as much information as I have. If you want to do something different, that's up to you. But he was told from the very beginning, he said, I made him take the road. I gave him a choice. After 3 or 4 phone calls, he could not decide what he wanted to do, and then he finally wrote me this letter. The letter was not signed on the advice of Mr. Kennemer because we don't know what's coming and what other embankments might be asked for. So that's why the letter wasn't signed. The road was built, nothing was said for about a year, and then all this process started. Okay, that's all I
There
got.
was a lot said in the year. There was a lot said. A lot.
You said a lot, but not
getting
getting
into there. We was waiting for the paper shipment. Would someone please
Rob.
read that whole letter?
Nothing else. Don't say anything else. Please. You're out of order.
I don't get to respond.
You you had your chance when you come up there and spoke.